Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Mary gets safe passage all the way to Scotland, as do a couple of stowaways. Find out who on tonight's Reign After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you never know what I'm going to say at the beginning of these, neither do I until I start it. We have Alina Vision here.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm so excited to be here tonight for this show, especially. You guys can follow me on all social media at Alina Vision.
Great episode. Absolutely fantastic episode. I'm your host, Phil Svitek. Missing in action is Keaton Markey and JB Zimmerman. But as promised, they'll be back for an episode or two before the season wraps. We've got 3 more.
Yeah, and we actually heard this song
in the episode!
I'm so excited! Yes! Bravo! Bravos!
If you're joining us for the first time, welcome! Where have you been? If you're returning, welcome back! Of course, we'll do Castle Corner, and we'll talk about the episode. No fan fiction tonight. I don't think it lent itself to any fan fiction.
No, not tonight.
But anyway, let's, fantastic episode overall. I really dug this episode. They fooled us where, you know, Mary's going to be in Scotland. Not quite in Scotland yet. Going to Scotland.
Us. They're teasing us. I've literally been waiting for this episode, I think, ever since Frances died. I've just been waiting for her to go to Scotland. She's not there yet, but she's on her way. So
that's right. And we got a little bit of Frances tonight.
Yeah, we got his voice, which was nice. It was nice to hear him again. Missing Frances, I must say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with we lost a big character today, Delphine. Our she was the new Hostradamus, and she was hot. But she dies tonight, and as soon as kind of. You know, it was interesting because I had forgotten in my mind of putting the 2 and 2 together, but she's like, I sense the killer here.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, how's this going to play out? And
then she runs into him, and of course he kills her.
He does. The interesting part was that there's a note from the Red Knights.
Right. Exactly.
Is he the Red Knight?
See, maybe I was right. I don't know if he specifically was the Red Knight or he was just trying to have them go on a wild goose chase. But I think he might have been.
Yeah, why didn't Bash put that portion of it together?
Exactly. I don't know.
He got so many things figured out tonight.
He did, and you could literally see the wheels turning in his head when he was putting 2 and 2 together. I really liked that. It was nice to see Bash have a lot more scenes.
This was a redemption episode for Bash.
He just went like out guns blazing. Loved this episode with him. He did a really good job. Torrance did.
The only tough part was when Delphine's back. When she comes back and she says, you know, you told me you'd wait. And then we just had that great episode last week with Bash revealing his feelings to Mary. Embers, you know, they'll continue and the flame will eventually pick up. And you know, that's the whole thing about love. One person can have a raging fire, the other person, like, just tiny embers.
So tiny. She just likes him as a friend now. I didn't think... Remember last week we asked, are they bashing? And yeah, clearly not bashing.
Not yet.
You think they will?
You know, you get lonely on a boat.
It's not that far to Scotland.
Well, we'll see.
That's true.
However, yeah, you know, obviously the whole notion of any sort of romance goes out the window with a death. But I thought that was interesting to kind of put in. And you know, if I've learned one thing about life, it's a matter of timing.
It is.
That's all it is.
It definitely is all about timing.
That's right. I would build a time machine and go back to some of the ladies of the past.
Oh, we're getting personal.
Well, that's what I like, because I really did feel for Delphine in that moment. She's, you know, she says, like, listen, I'm not going to leave. I'm here for the king. But you're kind of like a liar.
Right, because you said you were going to wait for me, so what happened?
Yeah, and how long? Like, it's not been years.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden?
You know, it might as well have just been a couple of weeks. Like,
seemed like it, yeah.
You know, but
I was surprised that he told her, yeah, there's somebody, well, you know, in a way, yeah, there's somebody else, not knowing exactly how Mary felt or anything like that.
But is it better to be truthful in that moment?
Yeah, it is. It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't toy with people's emotions.
And it's Bash. He's not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And obviously, Delphine served her purpose. This tears up Charles. We don't get too much of Charles today, but he's. I mean, physically he's in the episode a lot, but we don't necessarily get how it affects him emotionally. And
right.
you kind of know that he's going to be torn about this and things like that. But it would have been great to see a little bit more of him in like personal solitude. And how it kind of ate him alive, because he's dealing with his mother, and now he's dealing with Delphine, who he brought in. Right,
he did bring in. And how? So you thought that there should have been more scenes with him and Delphine, possibly?
No. I'm just saying it would have been interesting because he was so kind of drawn to her, and he brought her in to solve this mystery of the Red Knights, and ironically, if it all plays.
Kind of.
She did, but let's see. Imagine here's the worst part, right? So far, obviously, he knows a little bit of Catherine's history, but now imagine if he finds out this.
Yeah.
And how rough that's going to be, and how it's just so oddly cyclical that there's still lies upon lies in this family.
Yeah.
Still to this day.
It's crazy. How Catherine works her way out of that, I don't know. I'm sure she will. She always does. She always finds a way. But, I mean, there's so many lies, and she's done so much bad things, I guess you could say, that it's kind of hard. It gets to a point where it's hard to forgive. But at the same time, she's always looked out for Charles, and she's helped him out, being king and all of that. So who knows? The family always sticks together in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to jump around today just because things connect in my mind in this way, right? So, and we'll talk about Narcisse for sure. But when he has that line of, if you're going to leave, like, this is how you leave Catherine. And of course, it's going to work on Mary. Mm-hmm. But now reverse it. How many times has Catherine left Mary out for the dead?
So many times. I was thinking the exact same thing. I mean, there was a period of time when Catherine was so anti-Mary and was doing everything she possibly could, behind Mary's back, in front of Mary, everything to get her out of court. And
possibly literally killed.
Exactly. So, I mean, yeah.
So don't go guilt-tripping Mary into anything for Catherine.
But it was big of Mary to do what she did. It was really
huge.
Big. Huge.
And especially, the whole thing is, now, the hardest part for Catherine, I think, will be living with herself now. Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that literally everyone's left, and speaking of, embers trying to rekindle, there she is with Narcisse, and she's like, I need you.
He's like, I'm going to my wife, Lola.
That was a sweet moment from Narcisse in a Narcisse way, but it's interesting. It raised Mary on this pedestal, and by ironically saving Catherine, and yet Catherine is just we're
on a downward spiral.
Yeah, we're hitting the hammer on that nail and just driving her in.
Did you think it was awkward when Narcisse was saying bye to Catherine that he was kind of still giving her bedroom eyes?
How did he exactly say it? It
was weird. He was saying bye, I have to get back to my wife because we work too well together.
That's it.
Right. But still giving bedroom eyes. But, I gotta go.
Well, that's what she said. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah. So is he just kind of leaving the door open?
He did say he would be back.
Right. But he's trying to come back with Lola and still have the door open with Catherine. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. What exactly the meaning behind all of that was.
Well, I think, for all we've known Narcisse, he's always, he's had a love of power. And I think Catherine represents that. And so finally, I don't know, maybe he's trying to put a pause on power. I don't know, maybe he thinks he can find a balance between power and love. Or maybe he's just putting a pause on power and be like, okay, I need some love in my life. Because clearly everything,
it's been a dry spell of love.
You can consider it that, but also like what is, he's been a good statesman, but what has it led to in his life?
True.
He's literally all alone, and he knows. He's one of the few people that kind of knows Catherine's secrets, and so you look at it that way, and you're like, well, what's it all worth?
I could see that.
And of course, leave it to Mary to be the one that kind of is the catalyst for that. Because, and I appreciate Narcisse saying, like, I despise Mary.
Yeah, he did. And he does. And I get why he does, but she definitely had a point. Like, what have you been doing besides trying to gain more power here at court when your wife, who you supposedly love and want back, has been, in English court as somewhat of a prisoner? You haven't tried to do anything. You've just been trying to advance yourself. So, good point, Mary.
I'm going to read a Herman Hesse quote because I think it actually pertains to Narcisse quite well.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. If you hate a person, you hate something in him that is part of yourself. What isn't part of ourselves doesn't disturb us. So I think it's one of those things. Like, the reason why Narcisse hates Mary is because Mary, if nothing else, calls him a liar.
Right.
And he's like, well, I don't want to be called a liar. It's like, well,
she calls him out.
You are a liar. Mm-hmm. You just don't like being called a liar because you don't like to think of yourself in that way.
Right.
So I thought, like, this is if you really think about it, this is a very strong episode for Mary. She accomplishes a lot without, to a degree, not even necessarily knowing everything.
Exactly. No, I thought it was a really strong episode for her as well. I loved when she got the sword from Francis. It was kind of like she found her power,
Yeah.
I kind of felt like she was Thor finding his, what is it?
Her hammer.
Yeah, hammer. And, she rode back and she helped Catherine, which I thought was really, really big of her to do.
Absolutely. The one kind of the joke for me was they all came for the money and then they kind of walked out. So it's like, are they gonna get paid?
Exactly. So are you guys still gonna get paid? You still?
We're just not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll get paid.
Yeah, I'm sure they will too.
Yeah.
Catherine's got enough people angry at her that having the French army still unpaid and angry is not a good thing.
Yeah, we gotta pay these people.
Exactly.
Also, as another quick side note, like, where were the guards for the people, like the severed heads? Like, who was on break while this was happening?
Exactly. Normally you see them wandering the courtyard and all of a sudden, 13 heads get up there and nobody.
Technically 9, so we figured it out, right? So it was 9.
9, okay.
9 deceased generals.
All right.
I wrote that down because I remember we had some questions about the number last week.
I think people would notice people carrying in stakes with heads on them and putting them up on top of the castle walls. Seriously, who was on break? Who was on their coffee break? I
swear to God, somebody.
Yeah.
That French coffee is just so good.
No kidding. I mean, we were taking too much wine. Who knows?
Maybe. All right, let's wrap up Catherine, right? Because we are jumping a little bit. But in terms of her, where does this leave her? Because I mean, she's we leave her in the most awful way. And again, with Mary, she's actually in a good place. I liked what Mary said. Is this how you want to say goodbye? And then Catherine kind of redeems herself and says, like, it's like saying bye to Francis.
Right.
So I thought that was a really sweet moment.
It's like finally saying goodbye to Francis. Yeah. At first, when she was, just telling Mary to get out and she needs to go do her own thing and we're going to separate and rule as different rulers, I was like, that's kind of harsh. But then she did come around and was kinder to Mary, and you could see it was just like, you have to say goodbye to a little piece of Francis as well. And as far as where this leaves her, I mean, she's definitely in a downward spiral. People have left her. Bash almost killed her.
Rightfully or unrightfully, because what if this kind of came out of nowhere, but because we didn't build to it necessarily, but it's always been that looming question of what if Bash finds out about the mother?
Right.
And tonight he does.
He did. And he had every right to be mad. it's his mom, you know, and she killed him, and all he wants to do is give her a proper burial, and he doesn't even have the chance or opportunity to do that because supposedly her body's at sea. So yeah, he was angry, and I knew he wasn't going to kill her because that's not Bash.
That would be going too far.
Exactly. But he did get his revenge by leaving a letter to Charles and Claude, telling them exactly what she did. So
yeah, that's gonna be
he
harsh.
left a little trail of fire behind him as he left.
And that's why I think Catherine ultimately, she did say goodbye to Mary, because at this point I think she understands, like, she's done enough damage that this girl at least can go on and be something. So it's almost like poison to keep her here.
Exactly.
Just go. That's what I think.
Right.
So let's talk about Narcisse.
Okay.
And how it pertains to Lola. Obviously, finally kind of gets through it in the sense that, you know what? I'm like, with Narcisse, he has his moments, and today he had a moment, I will say.
In what way?
Okay, I've told you ladies to stay away from Narcisse forever.
I know, and at first
today,
I wasn't listening, but now I'm listening.
And yet today, of all days, I'm willing to tell you know what? He might be a changed man.
What? Phil?
He might be a changed man.
Oh my goodness. Okay, why do you say that? Why? You preached to me how he could not change. This is his character. He can't change. So why do you think that he is now changed? Or possibly
He proved something last week when he stood up and did that for France.
Okay.
With no regard for his own life. Mm-hmm. Right? And then, through all of this, as much hatred as he had for Mary, he realized it was always him. Mm-hmm. It was always him. And the interesting part is, I think, he goes on this ship, and where that's going to lead, he says, obviously, that as soon as they get to Scotland, he's going to go his way, and she's going to go her own way. But I think that there's a storyline to be had there, and he's going to be there. But he's very smart, and now the interesting part is you can consider it to a degree selfish reasons, but I think he's going to help Mary. But ironically, it's a selfish reason for both Mary and him, because they have the same common goal, which is Lola. I think it's going to work out.
I don't know. I just don't know. I'm taking Phil's previous advice. And I'm going to say he has his moments. He definitely has his moments. And that's what tricked me last time. Because I thought maybe he's a changed man. He's going to be, a good husband to Lola. And lo and behold, he wasn't. I don't know. I don't know if he has it in him.
Well, what spoke most to him, right? Obviously, we talked about the silence of letters. Lola not reciprocating those, and mm-hmm. That's we had that whole fan fiction moment. But you would think that would be bad enough. But now when he gets a letter, and it's not to him, even though it is addressed to him, that's like an ultimate kick in the nuts.
Yeah.
You're like, what the?
I've been writing to her, and she doesn't. Yeah, and she writes to you a coded letter.
Yeah. So I thought. I thought that was a huge catalyst. I thought that really sparked him in a significant way. Mm-hmm. So.
We'll see. We shall see.
Well, he's off to Scotland. However, you guys can go to Scotland too. But before you go to Scotland, if you're in high school, which some of you guys are, obviously Reign is for the younger kids too. Chapman University, right? Consider this, and especially a lot of you guys also like TV. You guys like filmmaking. They offer that. They also offer science and technology, the health and sciences, and the arts. Chapman University. It's located right here in Orange County, California, about 16 miles from the beach, 30 miles from Los Angeles, and minutes away from Disneyland and Angels Stadium. So lots to do. By the way, We've got some great interns from Chapman University. It's a great college. And in fact, if you guys are real AfterBuzz aficionados, Cameron Lewis is a graduate from Chapman University.
Nice.
Fine AfterBuzzer.
Yes.
The campus is 75 acres. It's in the historical city of Orange. About 8,000 students in the undergraduate and graduate program. There's 10 different colleges with 100 different majors. So literally something for everybody. And guess what? Obviously college, one of the things you look at is extracurricular activities and the clubs and the organizations. Don't worry. There's plenty of them. And the student to faculty ratio is 14-1. That's really
good. That's super good.
Really good.
Yeah.
There's classrooms out there that's like 70-1.
Yeah.
And that's like on the still good scale.
Right.
So 14-1 is
and those
insane.
aren't even like lecture classes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So check out Chapman University. And the best part is 86% of the students benefit from some sort of financial aid. So you may not have to pay for all of this yourself. That's also a very high percentage. Think about if you look at how much college costs.
So
86% of students receive financial aid. That's fantastic. So go to chapman.edu/information. That's chapman.edu/information. Check it out.
Yep.
Or if you have a kid,
Get your education.
if you have a kid, start looking for them.
Yeah, there you go.
So, all right. That was our sponsor for the week, if you didn't know. Let's skip across the border and let's go to England. Good old Elizabeth.
Yeah.
She's trying to side with John Knox, but then calls in Lola, and knowing that Lola's going to convince her otherwise. It works out great.
Yeah, she's really been trusting Lola. Like that whole, I guess you could call it a friendship now. Would you call it a friendship? Ish.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting there. I mean, she trusts Lola.
I mean, it's interesting, right? Just the necessity to have intimacy, what that can lead to.
Right.
Because I'm not going to say it's not friendship, but it does stem from I, as Lola, don't really have anybody. And obviously now Lola is really, really smart and kind of using it more to her advantage than Elizabeth is. And I think Elizabeth, honestly, is coming at it from I have nobody.
Yeah, she has no one.
I don't have Dudley.
Right.
Gideon, as nice as he is.
Right. And her counsel is kind of against her because she's a woman and...
Or they want to sleep with her with a wig.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So I don't know. I mean, I like their relationship. I think it's gonna turn probably sour pretty soon, especially with Mary coming to Scotland. If Lola is still in the castle there in England,
do you think Lola's gonna get out in time?
I don't think so.
And she's gonna be more of a high. What do they call it? High reward prisoner.
Right. I think that's probably what's going to happen. So, which will be very, very interesting to see how that all plays out. But I was really impressed with Lola's ability to. I mean, she's smart, so she was able to give Elizabeth, good advice on what to do with John Knox, who obviously she doesn't want him to rise to any type of power because he's against Mary as well in Scotland. And yeah, I think she gave her great advice, and that makes Elizabeth trust her even more. And she's got her
she was
ears.
she was also honest about it. It's not like she said like, "Hey, listen, of course, like I want to look out for Mary."
Right.
But also consider this, like it's John Knox, and he hates women.
He hates powerful women who are smart. Yeah.
And you are that, and he's gonna take you out. So yeah, while it helps Mary, there's a cost for you that's really, really great. So I appreciated that, and I like this Gideon coming out of nowhere. What do you think of this?
I like Gideon. I never had a problem with him, and I like the fact that he is still kind of I guess you could say faithful to Mary. Like he's still on Mary's side, and he comes and he tells Lola that. And it takes her a minute, to really trust him. But then when he lays out exactly what Mary did for her or for him, Lola's like, okay, I can trust you. Let's try to get me out of here. So I liked having him back. I like the character, and yeah, I like where it's going with him.
Yeah, and hopefully the biggest thing is that ticking time bomb of, can we get Lola on time? Because I don't think she didn't initially realize how soon it would have to be either. She's like, oh, wait, I mean, it's like I got
like
this
now.
today.
Yeah, I don't think she thought that part through as to the fact that she's going to be an even higher value prisoner. I don't think she thought that through, which normally she does, but she didn't.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I love the coded letter. Like, because if I was reading it, I would have been like,
what?
huh? Wait, my uncle who?
And where?
Why?
Yeah, and Mary just picked it up.
Wait, when you say, does that, I would be so confused.
Right. And when she was writing it, I was like, she has to know that her letters are being monitored. How is she going to get away with this?
That's why he sent the Narcisse.
Yeah.
That was smart.
That was.
Very smart.
And he couldn't even figure it out.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. Well, or maybe he was just so blinded by anger that he was like, what?
He's just fuming.
It doesn't say my name.
Yeah.
What is this? So, absolutely. If you had to pin, is Gideon says he's an Englishman, until he dies and blah, blah, blah. Is he actually lying, or is he really tormented and torn in that way?
I kind of think he's tormented and torn. I think he is a proud Englishman, but he loves Mary. And I think love probably trumps the whole Englishman. Yeah, loyalty to his queen.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think.
You don't think?
Well, no, I do think, but I don't think Mary reciprocates.
Right.
Not at this point.
No.
Not after bash time.
Yeah. Oh, no. After bash time. Oh, Phil.
Well, okay, so let's talk about Bash and Mary. I mean, this just, at first she tells him, like, you got to stay. Catherine needs you. And obviously things, what a great episode, because, from Mary's perspective, Catherine's all set. Like, she'll be okay. And obviously Bash can't stay there because he hates Catherine. And on the total opposite flip side, he loves Mary.
Right.
So it just makes complete sense for him to go with Mary. And then they are. And, I think she's ultimately glad to have, even Narcisse, I think she really is glad to have Narcisse on board.
Right. It's nice to have at least two familiar faces. Because like she said, when she came to France, she had her ladies with her. And now she was leaving.
I like how she started with Kenna.
Right. Where is Kenna?
She's gone.
Exactly. Never to return. We don't know what's happening. But yeah, so at least she's going back with people that she knows, and at least one person she trusts, which is Bash. And it's better than going back alone and going to a country she's not familiar with. She doesn't really know who to trust. So
at least she's got the mercenaries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We like them.
We do. Her little army of mercenaries.
They're awesome. Have we left anything out? I know we skipped around, but I think we touched upon everything.
I think so too.
Yeah. What great episode.
Yeah. It was so
and
good.
Kristoff's dead. Kristoff is dead.
Woo! Creepy Kristoff.
And that's the biggest thing. Let us know, do you think this is the end of the Red Knights?
Yeah, what is going on with the Red Knights? Was he the Red Knight? Is he part of it?
I think he was. 100%.
I think he was. See?
100%.
I think he was too.
But the bigger question is, who were the others?
Exactly.
Were there others?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we want to know what you guys think, so write us in the comments, tweet at us, all of that.
That's right. You guys have been great with that. So, absolutely. All right. Without further ado, then, let's go to Castle Corner, where we're going all the way to Turkey today. And as we go to Turkey, let me pull up. See, now I have Herman Hesse up and all that. But, all right. We're going to Gaziantep Castle, which was built by the Hittite Empire as an observation point and later built into a main castle by the Roman Empire on top of a hill in the center of Gaziantep, Turkey in 2nd and 3rd century AD. It went further into expansion and renovation under Emperor Justinianus between 527 and 565 AD. The circumstance of the circumference of the round-shaped castle is 1,200 meters. The walls are built of stone, and the castle consists of 12 towers. The castle has been renovated numerous times and took its final shape in 2000, very recently.
Wow.
Today, the castle is used as a defense and heroism panoramic museum, and a documentary regarding the defense of the city against the invading French troops after the fall of the Ottoman Empire runs periodically. So it ties into France very nicely. But look at it, you know, it's Turkey's kind of an interesting place, especially like the whole Ottoman Empire. Like this country, what the Polish and the Czechs were in like the World War eras, this was Turkey.
During the Ottoman?
During, like, most of history.
Yeah.
So Turkey has a very, very interesting and unfortunately lots of blood spilled during its history. But here, you know, we have some pictures for you if you guys are watching on video. If not, just Google it. It's there.
Yeah.
But it's a great castle, you know. Again, every one of these that we pick is a little bit different than the other. Right. This is much more of that. Again, it's built so early, so it's got that stone, that texture.
And it's not as high as some of the other, like the height of it isn't as high as the other castles. It's very kind of lower to the ground.
Yeah, because number one, it's already on a hill, so I don't think you need to go much higher. And again, go to the time that it was built. Like, I don't think they had many.
No.
So, you know, it's one of those things. But 12 towers ultimately, and it's kind of. It's more like a circle, right?
Right,
you can see that it's built like a defense mechanism more so than a luxury
castle.
Lifestyles of rich and famous kings.
Exactly.
So there you go. That's the castle of Castle Corner today. Without further ado, let's get into predictions, which, by the way, is, you know, if you watch on Hulu or anything like that, there will not be a new episode of Reign until June 6th. So we will be off enjoying Memorial Day weekend like you guys should be. So again, we'll be back for June 6th. So let's get into predictions for June 6th.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, explain the ending to me, because I think that will kind of go with where the prediction needs to be, right? Because we're on the boat and there's water.
Right. The water is coming in.
And we're left with a cliffhanger.
Of like, what happens to Mary?
Yeah.
Obviously, the boat gets to Scotland. We know that. She might be a little bashed up.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, that was a lot of water coming in, and
when you say bashed up,
no.
Okay. I thought you were making a pun. I thought you were making a pun.
No, I am not. I don't think they're ever gonna bash. I don't think it's gonna be a mashup or a bash up. But yeah, I think she's gonna get to Scotland. I'm interested to see what happens with her and Bash when they get to Scotland.
They're gonna bang up.
It's gonna be a mashup.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just very curious. You know, I think the interesting part is they've set themselves up really nicely where we can follow Mary, and you know, obviously we still have the nice cast of characters with her, Narcisse, Bash, and yet I'm so intrigued to see what's going to happen with Catherine. That I don't want to leave France. I want to see that too. So I think they played it very strategically, very nicely. So curious to see what happens. Obviously.
What do you think? Like, what do you think Charles is going to do? Because his finishing line was like, "I'm king, and you will pay for this," pretty much.
I think he's going to control her. I don't know.
Think he'll forgive her?
I mean, he can't like publicly kill her.
No.
So he has to like behind the scenes really control her and just. I think his anger is enough to control Catherine. So we'll see how he plays that. And then, you know, I want to know, like, when Mary gets to Scotland, what's the first order of business? We're going to Scotland, but where are we going?
Where are we going? Who do we see? What do we do?
Is there a castle waiting for us?
Exactly.
Like, what's going on?
Well, she's just kind of going into it blind, I feel.
Oh,
like, do we even know what town they're sailing to? Anything?
No, I have no roadmap. I have nothing.
Yeah, I don't think any of us have anything, so it'll be interesting to see when they roll ashore.
Yeah, and
who's there.
I don't think Narcisse is going his own way after either. I think he's going to stay with her for a little bit. And you're right. I don't think Lola makes it out. I think she's now a high risk prisoner, whatever we're going to call it.
So how do you think Elizabeth is going to start treating her any differently?
Publicly, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, the fact of, obviously just by the sheer nature of it, she becomes, this high reward prisoner. But it'll be interesting to see if Elizabeth puts 2 and 2 together about the ships. Right. Because that was a huge plot point. If she figures that out, then obviously trust goes by the wayside 100%. And then bye-bye, John.
Yeah. Oh, Lola. But she didn't know Lola was out there, but obviously somebody in the castle could have seen Lola out there. And she could put 2 and 2 together. Or maybe she could have thought it was like Gideon.
I mean, here's the thing. If I was a ruler, regardless of male or female, right, and someone said, I had a private conversation about the ships, and someone suggesting that, we take ships off for a week, and I said, well, wouldn't that leave us vulnerable? Then there's some collusion, right? So maybe she didn't overhear, but maybe she directly influenced this decision. It's like, how deep does this go? And then everyone's heads are getting cut off.
Heads are rolling in Phil's kingdom.
That's right. You don't do that. My kingdom's nice. Don't do that, and we won't have
until
problems.
You cross Phil.
Yeah, we won't have problems.
Then heads will roll.
That's right.
Yep.
But let us know what you guys think. I think this is going to be great.
Yes.
We're 3 episodes left of this season. We know there's another season, so we can rest assured. So, whew.
Yeah, you can breathe easy until the next season.
That's right. That's right. But the episodes have been picking up in the best of ways, so I'm very excited.
Tonight's was so awesome. I loved watching it.
Very awesome. Alrighty. In the meantime, where can the people follow you?
Everyone can follow me on all social media at Alina Vision, and that's Vision with 2 S's.
And follow Keaton at Keaton Markey. That's Marchi. You can follow JB Zimmerman at...
I think it's JB... I can't remember what it is now.
Just look him up.
Just look up JB.
Follow us here at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys for joining us. Check out all of the other after shows we've got. A lot of the fall TV has come to an end, but a lot of great summer TV is starting up. So definitely check that out. And obviously we'll be here up until the very end of this season of Reign, and then back for season 4 when it returns. In the meantime, thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Enjoy Memorial Day.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.